So I've been working on this Pokemon website for this channel, and right now I have a static Next.js app with these 4 Pokemons, and the data for this is coming from this array I have, where I'm basically just listing a few Pokemons, and the image is hosted on Cloudflare. So I want to make this dynamic, so want to add database to it, and I thought this is a perfect opportunity to explore this ORM called Drizzle. So let's get started. And I like how you can pick different options, and based on the options you pick, they give you like a different configurations. So here on database, we'll be using Neon, and here they give you a detailed guide so you can easily follow along. So let's just install this first. Next, we need a database. So let's head over to Neon, a new project. Let's call this Pokelogs. You can name it whatever you want. Pokelogs DB. We'll use AWS. Copy this. Let's create an environment. URL. Paste this. Now let's create a DB folder to put all our database stuff in it. And here we will just paste this database connection code. Okay, TypeScript is giving a warning because the environment can be undefined, right? So let's fix this. And I also want to export this so we can import this in other files. Okay, so that's pretty much it for connection. Now we can create our database schema. So in our DB folder, let's create a file called schema.ts. For our use case, we need a table for Pokemons, and inside Pokemons we'll have an ID, a name which is a string, an image URL which will also be a string, and a type which is also a string, right? So this should be a pretty simple schema. I think one additional thing we need is a slug. So in case we have a product detail page, we can use the slug for URL. So yeah, it will be a text and not null, and also it will be unique so that multiple Pokemon doesn't have the same slug. One more thing I need is a JSON field, so we can store any additional data we might have in future. So let's call it additional details. So JSON blob, and this can be null. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Now we have to create a Drizzle config file. Let's create one. Drizzle.config.ts. Here we can just paste this default config. Here you can see all the output of Drizzle will be in this /Drizzle folder, and it will look for the schema in source/db/schema.ts. But if your schema is in a different folder, you have to specify that here. Now if we want to reflect this schema into the live database, we have to push these changes, right? And for that we can just write npx drizzle kit deploy. So it connected to our database and looks like it's pushed everything. So if we check Neon, close this, go to tables, you can see a table and it has all the columns that we specified in our schema. Great, so now we have all the Pokemons in the database. We just need to write a query to fetch them and show them dynamically here instead of this static array. So let's write server actions. You can also use APIs as well. So inside source, let's create actions, and inside actions we'll have a file called Pokemon, and here we'll write all the actions related to Pokemons. So let's just say const Pokemons db dot select, and we'll select from Pokemon's table, and let's just return this. Pretty simple, right? And also we should export this so we can import this in the client. Now let's go to page. Now since this is a server component, we can just directly call the action here. So call this Pokemons, fetch, and we'll have to await this. Let's make this async function. Save this. Now if you see the UI, you can see everything is working fine. So now if you add a new Pokemon in your database, it should dynamically show here. So let's add this Pokemon called Abra. Go to Neon, add new record. I have an image of Abra, paste here, his name, type. I think Abra is a psychic type, right? So copy this. And we don't have any additional details now, so let's keep it null. Now if you refresh the page, you can see Abra here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. In the next video, I will share how you can create next forms and add Drizzle to it so we can dynamically insert new Pokemons from a admin panel or something. And yeah, stay tuned for that. I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.